everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So, apparently, a major leak has occurred. Wizards meant to ship one product and accidentally shipped another, I think is a story from what I'm hearing. That being said, major leaks, let's jump into it. So, as you can see, these leaks have been translated. I am just going with the translated versions that I found online. And again, kind of with any leaks, just take everything I say with a grain of salt because they are not confirmed yet. They are technically leaks, not spoilers, but these look pretty legitimate. And in the past, typically, when it comes to leaks this big, they typically are real. It would take a lot of effort to fake all of this, and I don't think that someone did. Let's jump into it. So we're going to go through the commanders first. Then we're going to talk about the actual, I think this was the starter cards, essentially. So the commanders in the starter decks, and then we're going to go through like the individual cards afterwards, too. A lot of cards leaked. Here we go. Artemis, Menace of Time, a legendary creature, human warlock. Whenever this creature enters, tap all creatures your opponents control. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to your opponent, draw a card, and it is a 4/4. So, this is a commander that is kind of a combination of some things. There's that one Merfolk that I just remember back from, I think it was like Ixalan, where it's like ETB, like tap everything down. Okay, cool. That's nice, but in combination, obviously, with basically like a, Biting of Thassa type essential card, Coastal Piracy type of card, that can obviously be quite potent. Just building up your little flying men type army with that kind of a strategy, a lot of low to the ground evasive creatures, maybe some creature token generators like a Talran that get a lot of creatures out there that are evasive, and then all of a sudden throw this down, tap down all of your opponent's creatures, and swing through and draw a ton of cards. That can be quite great. Obviously, 6 mana is quite a bit for a commander. That being said, taking advantage of that ETB again and again and again can be incredibly beneficial. I mean, you can really throw, just with this commander in general, you can really throw a wrench into the opponent to your right, their plans when it comes to any kind of defense, because you tap down all the creatures and then every other player gets a turn basically swinging out at the, rightmost, player essentially for the most part, and the person across from you as well. But obviously, if you've got any kind of blink effects, you can use and abuse this to tap down creatures when you need to. So again, if someone is going to be getting aggressive back at you, you can just go, Essence Flux. Yeah, for 1 mana, I tap down your army before, you're going to be declaring attackers. And sure, there you go. Yeah, you're not coming after me. So obviously, you can politic with it too, on top of all the amazing, card draw you can get. Yeah, it's a really interesting commander for sure, and one that you can go control, and also kind of like flying men type low-to-the-ground evasive strategy. Obviously, double up on that card draw in many ways, like Thought Reflection, Teferi's Latest Insight, or, Coastal Piracy, cards like that. It's a very interesting commander for sure. Moving on, we've got Seymour Flux, a legendary creature spirit avatar. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 1 life. If you do, draw a card, put a counter on Seymour Flux, and it is a 5/5. So, this is a commander that, obviously, you just want to get out there and you want to say, hey, stick around for a bit. You're basically a Phyrexian Arena for me. And I am going to be paying that 1 life basically every single time, because 1 life is absolutely nothing in Commander. 1 life for a card, you'll make that deal any day of the week. So, again, this is basically like a commander that is a Phyrexian Arena that also just can grow throughout the game as well. 1 counter, obviously, each turn isn't going to be like the most powerful thing in the world. It's like, my goodness, look out for that giant 6/6 this turn. It's like, okay, it's going to take some time to build up. Obviously, you can utilize other ways to take advantage of it growing in power. You can utilize cards that sacrifice draw based on power if you need to get like a big burst of draw as well. And of course, you can utilize Feign Death effects to bring this back right away and that kind of thing as well, so you're not just losing out on the commander itself. Yeah, outside of just kind of like a value engine commander, this is, one that you could go big with as well. Next up, we've got, and my apologies for mispronouncing any names in this because, well, I haven't played every single Final Fantasy, just a couple of them. Anyways, Zandy? Let's go with that. Zand, Dark Mage, a legendary creature, human sorcerer with menace. It gets ++1 for each non-creature, non-land card in your graveyard, and it is a 3/3. So this is a very interesting commander where typically when it comes to, like, graveyard-caring creatures, they typically care about, creatures in the graveyard, typically. Or lands in the graveyard, usually. So this is like, no. You need to care about the exact opposite of that, and I will grow in power based off of that. So this is the type of commander where, if you can mass mill yourself, there's a couple different ways to do it. Like, mill half your library type cards. Or just Morality Shift, one of my favorite cards of all time that Wizards needs to reprint. My goodness, Wizards, please do it. I think that hasn't been reprinted. It's like back, is that back in Odyssey or Torment or something like that? Anyways, Wizards reprint it. Yeah, I mean, being able to just switch your entire library with your graveyard and then say, oh, okay, cool, I've got 80 cards in my graveyard. This is going to get an absurd amount of power. Obviously, you don't have to get anywhere near that to make this a one-shot KO. You need, 18 cards in your, graveyard that are non-creature, non-land, which is a decent amount, obviously, but you definitely can get there. Unfortunately for you, you're not in, any kind of double strike colors. There are, things like Fire Shrieker, obviously, but you're not in red or white, so double strike really isn't on the menu for you for the most part. That being said, a lot of good evasion, a lot of good mill cards, obviously, a lot of good, tutor certain things in your graveyard cards. You're going to want to mill a lot, frequently and often, and of course, get those cards in your graveyard, keep them in your graveyard, and utilize the immense power of this commander. It's a really interesting direction for a Dimir commander where it's, again, just very straightforward. It's all right, I'm going to hit you hard. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to get things in my graveyard. I'm going to hit you hard. I've got Menace, so it's a decent, way to get through. But if I grant, this with flying as well, if I give it, any kind of other evasion, that's going to help it get through even more. So yeah, it's a very cool concept for a Dimir commander. Excited to see what people do with this one. Next up, we've got Rosa, Steadfast White Mage, a legendary creature, noble human cleric. At the beginning, with reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a counter on target creature control, gains lifelink until end of turn. This is one of those commanders where it's did it really need to be, not that, rarity actually really matters, especially when it comes to, these starter products too, but, this just seems like a, kind of throw in, uncommon commander that they don't care about, really. Not that the, symbol on it really matters all that much when it comes to power level, but it's just okay, yeah, okay, I get a counter on a creature. Lifelink until I have turn. Great. There's some things that you can do with that. Obviously, the lifelink is what you'd probably play more into when it comes to, okay, how can I take advantage of this? But obviously, yeah, it's a counter-based commander, but there's so many better ones out there, and just, getting one counter on a creature, yeah, not all that impactful. So, yeah, I'd say overall this one is just pretty disappointing so far. Moving on, we've got Beatrix, Loyal General, a 4/4 vigilant human soldier that says, at the beginning of combat on your turn, attach any number of equipment you control to target creature you control. Now, this one is interesting because it is for the amount of mana, that's not bad at all for the most part, especially for a 4/4 vigilant creature that you already have a little bit of a base to that does have that vigilance, so you can stay back on defense as well. So if you are going Voltron, which is probably the direction you would go for the most part, you'd probably okay, yeah, get all this equipment out there that are decently expensive or that are, cheap but have a high equip cost, and then just chuck them all on your commander and swing. I'm not going to say there's a problem with this one, but there is a commander out there that is a partner commander. The name is escaping me right now, but I believe it's at just 3 mana in white as well. Again, is a partner commander, so you can get a full other commander plus, up to 2 other colors, basically with it too. That basically does the exact same thing, unless I'm misremembering, but essentially this is one where it's kind of already been done before, and yeah, again, it's done kind of better for the most part. It might be a lower-to-the-ground creature that doesn't have vigilance, but, you don't really care necessarily all about that versus saving 3 mana and getting maybe another commander and extra colors, too. So, again, interesting concept, but we've kind of already seen this one before. Next up, though, we've got Lightning Security Sergeant, a 2/3 human soldier with Menace. Whenever it deals combat to a player, exile the top card of your library. You'll play that card for as long as you control Lightning. Interesting. Okay, so this is one, and Rule Slayers out there, please help me out on this one. As long as you control Lightning, is that when specifying this specific Lightning? Or again, if I say, if Lightning dies and I bring it back, do I get access to the cards I already Impulse Drawed? That would be a good question. So, a commander that, obviously, again, let's just go with the assumption that you keep access to those. Maybe you don't, though, but let's just go with the assumption that you do. Yeah, being able to build up a second hand can be quite nice, especially, again, if you can keep getting access to it, even if Lightning is dealt with. Even if not, you're still, building it up while it's in play. But, of course, being able to have a little bit of evasion with that Menace, that's nice. But being able to actually, grant this double strike, which obviously in red you've got plenty of ways to do that, is obviously kind of what you want to do with this. Double strike, extra combats, things like that, being able to get through, hit, and get that trigger as many times as you can, essentially, to kind of build up, again, that secondary hand. That could be quite nice. So it's longer version of Impulse Draw. Again, especially if you can just keep getting access to those cards, if Lightning leaves and then comes back, essentially. That'd be quite nice. Even if not, still a good amount of card advantage for this one. So, yeah, I mean, again, you definitely would be building in a way where you're probably extra combats, double strike, probably even pumping this a little bit too to maybe even make this like a 2-shot KO commander at some point, maybe even a 1 if you're going crazy enough. But yeah, it's an exciting commander for sure, and one that can definitely be a player in certain decks that really care about, again, the exile in the top card of your library, playing out of your hand, playing in exile essentially. Next up, we've got Adalbert Steiner, a 2-1 human soldier with lifelink for 2 mana and white. Gets +1 for each equipment you control. I mean, this one is like simple and straightforward and to the point, but like it can pack a punch quite quickly. There are a lot of lowly crowd equipment that you can get out there, even some that you can get out for free that you might not even care about essentially what they do. You're just like, yeah, just play all these for free. Awesome, cool, good for me. I get other benefits maybe by having a certain number of artifacts in play, or whenever I cast an equipment spell, like a Shram kind of thing, essentially. But yeah, you could have a lot of low-to-the-ground equipment that you can get out there. Again, maybe utilize some ways to like cheat, and basically attach as well, so you can skip out on paying for that. But this commander that can hit pretty hard quite quickly as well, and again, already has lifelink, which is quite nice. I like these kind of designs for an uncommon commander where it's like, yeah, it's not overly powerful, obviously, but it's like something that's interesting, something that is a cool direction, and something you can really build around in an exciting way. So, yeah, I like the design of Adalbert Steiner a lot. Next up, we've got Graha Tia? No idea how to pronounce that. 3/5 cat archer with reach for 5 mana in white. Whenever one or more creatures or artifacts you control are put in the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. This ability triggers only once per turn. Okay, so that's the text that I was hoping that this would not have. Still my least favorite text in Magic. Anyways, activate only sorcery speed, or activate only sorcery, or this ability triggers only once each turn. Those things, yeah, come on, Wizards. I mean, sometimes it's necessary for this. I don't know if it's all that necessary. You could have put like non-token on there instead and just, yeah, come on. Mono white aristocrats, there you go, right? Okay. That being said, obviously with this one, you still do have the opportunity to draw 4 cards with each trip around the table, so that is quite nice. Again, only once per turn, but it can trigger on your opponent's turns as well. Yeah, I mean, that's quite nice. It is you control, so again, it is kind of the aristocrat style plan, but also, again, it counts artifacts too, so do keep that in mind. So obviously, if you make clues, blood tokens, obviously the most straightforward one is treasures. You only have access to so many ways to make treasures, some really good ones, obviously, Smothering Tithe, wink wink. But yeah, being able to essentially make some treasures, make some, just regular artifacts you can just sacrifice on your opponent's turns as well. Drawing 4 cards with each trip around the table, that's very, very, very good. So maybe there is a reason why they limited this one. Obviously, they could have just said non-token, though, and maybe that's not the direction they want you to go in, but still. Yeah, being able to obviously get creatures out there that actually care about getting taken out, or ones that you can bring back quite easily, and yeah, having some free sacrifice salads. There's only so many of those out there in mono white. There are some, like Martyr's Cause and things like that, but still, being able to essentially just get repeat value out of things and to draw down in your deck. Again, 4 cards with each trip around the table is not too bad at all, and there's some interesting builds around this one. Wizards, though, come on. I just don't like this build triggers on once each turn. I just don't like it that much. Wizards, come on! Moving on, we've got Barrett Wallace. A human rebel with reach is a 4/4. Whenever Barrett Wallace attacks, he deals damage equal to the number of equipped creatures you control to defending players. So, this is another interesting direction for equipment where, yeah, I mean, you're just like trying to go as wide as you can with equipment in a way, which is quite interesting because the more equipment you have out there, the more equipment that are attached to creatures, the more damage you are doing on attack against the defending player. So, yeah, you could take a player out just by swinging with this. Even doesn't matter, if an opponent has blockers or not, you're just getting taken out right away. A couple of things to consider with this one. I would definitely utilize those equipment that like ETB and make a creature right away, like these Phyrexian Germs ones, essentially, or like the, what are the, not ally ones, whatever those ones are too. There's a couple different ones where it's like, okay, I enter the battlefield, automatically make a creature, and then I attach right there to it. So you don't have to worry about like attaching them. Obviously, free attachments are great as well. That being said, some other things to keep in mind, damage doublers, damage triplers, of course, can be insane with this one. Giving this lifelink would obviously be quite nice because you do have this creature itself dishing up the damage, so gaining life when it hits a player like that could be quite nice. And of course, if you want to go in this direction, grafted exoskeleton. Basically, utilizing infect. Infect is a direction you can go this to. I think that might be the only way off the top of my head that I think you can give this infect. Actually, there's probably other ways in red as well, but not too many. But yeah, going infect would obviously be very easy to take a player out with that. So yeah, ways to get this through in combat. You're going to want to make sure you're protected. But also, just get a lot of things out there that can attach right away, swing, and dish out an absurd amount of damage for fun. Seems like an interesting build. Next up, we've got Freya Crescent, a 1/1 Rat Knight for just a single red mana. Jump during a turn this creature has flying, and you can tap it for a red. Only use this mana to cast equipment or activate abilities of equipment. Interesting. So, a very low-to-the-ground commander. Again, there's only so many commanders out there. We're getting more and more these days, but only so many out there that are like 1 mana or even less. But yeah, 1 mana. Not too many of those out there. So, being able to have a commander that is super low to the ground, that's quite nice. Get it out there, and then it is a mana dork in a way, but again, only specifically for equipment or activating abilities of equipment. So, yeah, I mean, getting this out there, being very aggressive, getting equipment out there can be quite great. And of course, getting only on your turn, sure, but like, you're going to want to be aggressive with this more so than utilizing it on defense. So, giving it flying automatically on your turn, that's quite nice. So, being able to just get out there, get aggressive, start swinging, get equipment out there, and yeah, attach it and just keep swinging and utilize that as your evasion. Maybe some other ways to grant evasion as well, but sure, I mean, overall, that's just a pretty solid, fun, low-to-the-ground commander that's like, okay, equipment-centric, but goes about in a different way. Okay, moving on now. Outside of the commanders that we saw out of these leaks, we also have a good amount of, non-legendary creatures too. So let's talk about those. I'm going to break those down between the two, I was going to say precons, they're not precons, they're starter decks. So in Boros colors and then in Dimir colors. Here we go. Rays of Judgment is the first one. An instant. It deals 5 damage to our creature and X damage to its controller, X the number of equipment you control. It is an interesting card for sure. If you've got an equipment-centric deck, this could be like an interesting, 5 damage is a decent amount. That's usually enough to take out an important creature that you actually want to take out. There are going to be opportunities where it's going to be like, oh no, the creature I really want to take out is at 6. Oh no, I can't do that. That being said, it could be a decent finisher for you as well. Again, dishing out damage based on equipment. Very specific equipment decks will like this. I don't think it's like, oh, every equipment deck wants it, because it's like a finisher / damage dealer. Yeah, it's good, it's solid, it's fun, but what kind of equipment decks will want it? We'll see. We will see. Moving on, we've got Ultima Weapon, a ledger artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, destroy target creature and opponent controls. Equipped creature gets +7/+7, and it's got equip 7. So that is a hefty equip cost right there. Now, when it comes to commanders that might want to utilize this one, kind of like we talked about earlier, commanders that can cheat on equip costs, that can auto-equip things. I mean, Sir Gwyn, basically, is kind of one that comes to mind. But yeah, basically, commanders that can say, oh, I don't really care about paying that extra 7 mana, or ones that get 1 free equip a turn. 7 is quite hefty. That being said, obviously, the payoff is quite good. A giant pump effect, +7/+7, and of course, on attack, just destroy any creature you want. Yeah, that's quite nice. So it's a really, really cool card. Yeah, equipment decks that can, again, cheat on costs are going to be the ones that focus on this. Next up, Cloud Moogle. A Moogle with flying that costs 5 mana in white. Whenever this creature enters, put a counter on target creature. Plane cycling for 2. It's a 2/3. Yeah, it's probably more of a just very specific kind of deck card. If you really care about plane cycling, if you really care about just cycling in general, then sure. If not, that 1 counter on ETB is probably not going to be all that great for you. Next up, we've got Coral. Okay, I probably mispronounced that. Creature, cat, beast. Pay 2 mana in total. Tap dark non-enchantment creature, and it's a 2/2. So, yeah, again, probably more of a very specific kind of deck card. Yeah, you don't really care too much about tapping something down for 2 mana for the most part. There's better ways to do that. Next up, Dwarven Castle Guard. It's a dwarf soldier for 2 mana in white. It's a 2/1. When it dies, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token. This is actually quite good, again, for aristocrat-style decks. When it comes to, these creatures that are low to the ground, if you have, again, a creature that does cost, 2 mana, you're hoping to get 2 creatures out of it, basically. And that's what you are doing with this one. You've got, the other side of things, the Goblet Instigator kind of thing. It's okay, on ETBI, make another 1/1. Great. This is very similar to that. A little bit more power there, but again, you're getting that on the death trigger, which can be quite nice for certain strategies out there. Again, Taste of Karlov wants the death triggers, doubling those up. So, yeah, Aristocrat style can definitely consider something like this. Next up, Sun Crystal Fate. An instant that says the spell Cost 2 less to cast if it targets a tapped creature. Destroy target non-land permanent. Yeah, this is, again, very specific strategies would want this, but probably not many of them because, there's just better ways to destroy non-land permanents out there, essentially, for less mana. Yeah, this is the kind of card that's like, if it was in colorless, it would see so much play because certain types of decks out there really want to be able to get rid of any kind of permanent. But this one is like, okay, cool. When you target a tapped creature, great. You're saving mana on that, but still there's better ways to do that anyways. And if you're not, then you're spending 5 mana, and that's quite a bit of mana to spend to get rid of something. Next up, we got Blade of Light. Instant. Deals damage equal to the number of creatures and equipment you control to target creature. Very specific. Again, maybe an equipment deck could consider it, but yeah, there's also just better ways to deal with things. Like, yeah, I mean, there's just better removal spells when it comes to getting rid of creatures that aren't dependent on you having an army or you having equipment essentially out there. White, alright. Artifact for 4 mana in white. When this enters, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. And it taps for a white mana. If this was 3 mana, sure. At 4 mana, this is a bit much. For the most part, I would say. Like, we have seen, like, somewhat similar cards to this. There is that one, like, enchantment aura that it goes on a land. That one's a bit more specific, where I'd say that one is a bit more protected, being an enchantment and on a land. I mean, kind of, like, less protected anyway, too. But artifacts aren't that hard to deal with for the most part. And, yeah, I'd say if it was 1 mana less, it'd probably see a lot more consideration. But yeah, again, for like those strategies that really care about temporarily getting rid of things, sure. It is an opponent control, so you can't like Fiend Hunter loop yourself, which is unfortunate, but still. Yeah, it's an interesting card for sure, but how much play it'll see, I don't think of too much. Next up, White Mage's Rod, Artifact Equipment, choose a job. When it enters, create a colorless 1/1 hero creature token and attach this to it. If a creature gets +1 gains. Whenever this creature attacks, you gain 1 life and is a cleric initial other types, equip 3. Interesting. So the choose a job seems like something that's going to be repeated, where it's based on like classes, basically. So it's interesting, or jobs, I should say. But yeah, being able to, again, have those type of equipment that, hey, ETB auto-attach to something. We already talked about a little earlier about there are commanders out there that kind of want that sort of thing. On top of that, sure, gaining 1 life when it attacks. Yay! Nice. But yeah, more so it's just going to be, I think, more so used in those decks that really care about equipment, and they care about them being attached to creatures. Next up, the Chosen of the Crystal. It's a sorcery. Create 4 1/1 colorless hero creature tokens. Put a counter on each creature you control. I mean, it is 8 power across 4 bodies. At the very least for 7 mana. 7 mana is a ton for a sorcery, and it probably should be a game-ending spell for you for the most part when it comes to that. This is not going to end the game. If you really care, I guess, about both going wide and getting counters on things, then sure. But outside of that, it's a hefty amount of mana. Next up, we got Dragoon Spear, Artifact Equipment. Choose a job. Enters, create a colorless 1 hero token, attach it to it. Equip creature gets +1/0 and is a knight and other types. During your turn, equip creature is flying, and you can equip it for 4. 2 mana in total for this card. Yeah, again, like, if you care about things that are like, okay, cool, yeah, get something out there that's attached to, or get a creature out there that equipment is attached to. If you just kind of care about the amount of creatures out there, great. Is it going to see all that much? No, not really, I wouldn't think, for basically a 2/1 temporary flyer that, again, costs 4 mana to re-equip to something else. That can be quite hefty. Next up, Item Merchant. A human citizen, whenever you attacking equipped creature gets menaced on turn. Very specific. Probably not going to see too much play. It seems like a lot of these cards, they probably toned down the power level. Again, they starter deck a bit when it comes to a lot of these, so they are pretty specific. There are decks out there that might want them. But for the most part, it's not like, oh, yeah, that's like definitely a game changer for that deck. And by, I shouldn't say game changer anymore because, yeah, game changer is now an actual term in Magic. Next up, Warrior's Blade, Artifact Equipment. Again, choose a job, auto-equips to a 1/1. Who creature gets +3/+2 and is a warrior to other types. Cool. Decent amount of pump, but equip 5, that is a pretty hefty cost. So again, outside of decks that just care about getting creatures out there that are equipped, probably not going to see too much play. Then we've got Suplex, Sorcery. Choose 1, 3 to target creature. If that creature dies turn, exile instead, or exile target artifact. If this was instant speed, it would probably see a bit more consideration, but at sorcery speed, that changes a good amount of the calculation. Unless you really care about getting rid of creatures permanently, there you go. We got Samurai Katana. Again, choose a job. That hero attaches automatically. +2/+2. Trample and Haste is a samurai. Equip 5. 5 again is a hefty amount, I would say. Yeah, I mean, again, if you need an equipment deck that has a lot of cool creatures, there you go. And then finally, we've got Rabansta. Oh my gosh, I am just totally messing that up. I'm sorry. Rabanasta. Rabanasta. There we go. City of the Kingdom. Land city. The center's tapped, then it taps for 2 colors, red or white. Okay, doesn't really do much else. It's just more so like Wizards want to show up the city, which somehow isn't legendary, even though it's its own city. Okay, Wizards. Okay, moving on to the other starter deck. We've got Deadly Embrace, a sorcery that says destroy target creature opponent controls, then draw a card for each creature that died this turn. This one actually could see some play. I mean, again, in a Aristocrat style strategy, you're going to be like, okay, what I'm going to be doing is, all right, destroy a creature, cool, for 5 mana. That's way too expensive. Like, you'd expect to pay like 2-3 mana maybe, essentially, for that. That being said, hey, a potential draw an absurd amount of cards. At the very least, drawing 1, right? That would not be worth it just for this, though. But of course, if you're like, oh, okay, cool, I've got my Aristocrat-style strategy, I'm going to be sacrificing an absurd amount of creature fodder right now, that could be quite great, obviously, and draw you an absurd amount of cards. So it's like a little bit of removal, but more so like mass card draw. Yeah, that's well worth the 5 mana for those types of strategies. And again, I do say Aristocrat-style because that's like the most, like, you're depending on yourself for drawing the cards. Obviously, if you got a strategy that you can, like, remove a bunch of opponent's creatures quite easily, then you can consider this as well for those. Next up. Magitech Scythe, an artifact equipment. It says when it enters, you may attach to our creature you control. If you do, the creature gains first strike until end of turn, it must be blocked this turn if able. +2/+1, equip 2. There are certain strategies out there, again, that care about equipment just auto-equipping, which is nice on ETB. So yeah, if you've got a commander that wants to, again, force blocks, if maybe you have like a Death Touch commander, my goodness, that can be quite nice because it can just remove a lot of things. Kind of like a mini board wipe in a way. So yeah, that could definitely be a spot for it. Yeah, just equipment deck in general. Maybe, yeah, too. Next up. Shahagan. I don't know. 1/3 Merfolk Warrior. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana is spent to cast it, but a counter on this creature can't be blocked this turn. Very specific. Probably not going to see too much play in Commander, I wouldn't think, because like you already have a lot of other low-to-the-ground creatures that are evasive just all the time. This one is dependent, and you probably don't care too much about that for the most part. Next up, Fairy of Ilmeg. A fairy with flying. A 2/1. Whenever it attacks, scry 1. I mean, repeat card selection is not bad at all. For a low to the ground, again, like flying men type strategy, you could absolutely love something like this. 2 mana is kind of hefty for a flying men type strategy. Usually they want it to be at 1, but still, like, being able to do that and actually get some good card selection again and again and again, or, you know, top deck manipulation type decks or decks that just care about kind of digging down quickly and getting the right thing could definitely, you know, have this see play. It's a cool card. Next up, go for the Esper. Funny name in Magic. Sorcery, create a 3/3 blue robot artifact creature token. If the spell was cast from a graveyard, put 2 counters on that token. And its flashback cost is 6 mana in total. Yeah, it's a bit hefty for what it does, I'd say overall. It's pretty hefty for that cost. Like, if you really care about casting things out of the graveyard, maybe, but like for the most part, that's a pretty hefty cost. Next up, Laguna's Dreams. An instant for 2 mana in blue. Scry 1, then draw a card. You can flash it back for 4 mana in total. I mean, it's kind of like, it's like an improved version of, oh gosh, what's that one that basically is the exact same thing, but I think it's like 2 in a blue for the repeat, but no scrying. Oh, my brain's not working on that. Anyways, there are other similar cards to this one. If you care about, again, a deck that likes to recast things out of graveyards, maybe it's like, okay, well, you have a commander that cares about casting a bunch of spells, essentially. Cool. Yeah, being able to get 2 shots at this can be great. And, yeah, digging down in your deck with the scry. Nice. Okay, it's just a solid card overall. Next up, Realm Drawings. A sorcery that says, create tokens, copy a target artifact, creature, or land. It's 4 mana in blue. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty specific in what it wants to do, but if you like creating, like, the clone type effects, but making a creature token version of them, maybe for a populate type strategy, like my Giganta deck, I would love this card, absolutely. Yeah, it is specific that you can only get artifact, creature, or land, but for the most part, it's probably what you want to copy for the most part in general. But yeah, I mean, again, for those types of strategies, absolutely love something like this. Aqueduct Rat. A rat for 2 mana in black, a 2/2. When it dies, create treasure token. Yeah, I mean, if you care about, like, death triggers, making tokens like this, like, there's that one wall, I think that's a 0/4 that costs 2 mana, it just generically, that basically is the exact same thing when it dies. Sure. If you don't care about that, yeah, like getting the treasure token off that, there's lower the ground ways to do that. There are 1/1s, essentially, for 1 mana that get you that treasure when they die. So you'd probably prefer those. Next up, Shinra Reinforcements. Human Soldier 2/3. When it enters, mill 3 cards and gain 3 life. I mean, milling 3 cards is not nothing. For strategies that want to get things in the graveyard, gaining 3 life, that's nice as well. Like, it'd be a pretty specific deck that really wants this, though. 3 mana for a 2/3, not all that impactful, obviously, but sure. Again, if you've got a way to use and abuse ETBs for milling and you really care about milling, cool, go for it. Next up, Sephiroth's Intervention. Instant for 4 mana in black. Destroy target creature, you gain 2 life. Feels bad when you lose your healer. But yeah, that's quite a bit for Commander when it comes to like getting rid of something. 4 mana is quite a lot. So you're probably not going to utilize something like this, I wouldn't think, unless you really care about that life gain too on the side. Next up, we got Walking Seath, a mutant horror that says this creature enters tap. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may pay a black mana. If you do, return this card from your grave to your hand. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not the worst. Again, I'm assuming that its power toughness is like 3/3 at the most, I would assume. So, yeah, I mean, maybe slightly larger, maybe it's a 4/3 because it enters tap, but still, yeah, probably not something you really care all that much about. There are better creature fodder pieces that's like, okay, cool, raise something skeleton, get it back again and again and again and again and again. Yeah, overall, I mean, it depends on the power toughness, but I would assume it's not quite there. Next up, we've got All Bad Rescuers, Human Artifact Warrior. When this creature or another creature or artifact you control is put in grave from the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. It's a 2/3 for 3 mana. Yeah, I mean, this is yet another Blood Artist type effect, basically, so it's going to see play. Again, whenever this or an artifact you control, this or another creature or artifact you control. So this applies to a lot of things. Again, it's not non-token. So it applies to, well, treasures, it applies to creature fodder, it applies to a lot of things. It is, like, Blood Artist specific that you are targeting an opponent, but it is you control. So it's, like, Blood Artist specific, but also, like, kind of like Zulpor Cutthroat. It's a combination of those, but it does allow you to care about artifacts too, so there's definitely a place for it. Yeah, I mean, again, Blood Artist deck is getting closer and closer and closer to becoming a real thing. Definitely a card that's going to see some play. Next up, Extermination Instant says target creature gets -0, -9,999 until end of turn. Interesting. I mean, that's going to take out basically any creature. It's going to be really funny the times that it doesn't. When it's like, oh, the creature has 1,000 toughness. Oh, I wish I could take it out, but I can't. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a funny card. It's not all that good when it comes to Commander, though, because, yeah, there are cheaper ways to take out creatures. Yeah, it's just really funny. It's just a really funny card for sure. I mean, there's some, like, really weird combo with this that's like, wow, that's actually quite awesome, but outside of that, yeah, just an interesting, funny card. And then finally, we've got the Return of Evil, a sorcery for 5 mana in total. Return our creature card from your grave to the battlefield, 2 counters on it. I mean, if you care about, like, all of the, Reanimator spells, like, if you just have, like, a Reanimator spell deck, great. If you don't, probably not. Usually you want to pay 4 mana for your animation spells at the most. And, yeah, the 2 counters on it really doesn't make up too much for that, for the extra 1 mana, I wouldn't think. And again, take everything I say with a grain of salt this episode because these are leaks, not officially confirmed yet. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And, of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.